This one also has some painted edges going on. Do I want to automatically buy it just because it has painted edges? Yes, 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 I do. Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse, and welcome to October's new releases, aka my favorite time of year, aka it's Libra season. I am in my element and I couldn't be more excited about it. We have a ton of books to talk about again, so details, pub dates, all that fun stuff down below on the screen. Let's get right into it. The first book we have is by Geneva Rose. This is Dating After the End of the World. Forgot to shimmy. This was an Amazon / is an Amazon first reads for September. So if you haven't already grabbed a copy, grab a copy. And this is, I feel like something new for her. She's always doing something new. It says there's nothing like the undead to bring the living together. So action-packed, apocalyptically romantic, genre-shattering novel. I'm always intrigued by what she's doing. We have Casey Pearson, who grew up with a doomsday prepping father. And at 18, she's tired of living an unconventional life. She left home vowing never to return. Fast forward a decade and we have a mysterious viral outbreak, changing everything, including the people it infects, turning them into zombie-like creatures. This could not be more different from other books that she's written before. So, it's the end of the world and no one saw it coming, well, except for Casey's father. With no place left to run and danger lurking around every corner, Casey is forced to return home. You guys know I love a reluctant return home. This one is definitely a little bit different. And we've got a compound, we've got a group of survivors, and we have Blake Morrison, who was the high school bully who made Casey's teenage years a living hell. And since it's a romance, maybe we can guess what's going to happen between the two of them. So anyway, if you're in for some Geneva, if you're in for something a little different, something different, give it a go. Okay, now we're going to move into October 7th. I happen to have an arc of this thanks to Thriller Fest. This is Patricia Cornwell, Sharp Force, Kay Scarpetta novel, number, I don't even know in the series, 26, 27, something. I have not read it. If you guys have been here for half a minute, like, here's her list of all the books she's written. I always say read. I am a big Patricia Cornwell fan. I've read about half of her books. I need to read the other half, but if you are caught up or just want to dive on in, we have No One is Safe from the Serial Killer, not even Scarpetta. I'll be honest, at this point, I am not worried about spoiling anything in the series for myself. So high level overview, it is Christmas morning. Kay gets a chilling phone call and the phantom slasher has struck again. So we are back in Northern Virginia and the serial killer has terrorized Virginia for months. His pattern is to stalk with a sophisticated technology that enables him to invade his victim's home and watch their every move. That sounds terrifying. They wake up to a ghost-like hologram before being murdered in their beds. Patricia Cornwell is really turning up the volume here. So, Scarpetta is summoned to Mercy Island, the site of a notorious psychiatric hospital. Love that. Where two people have been brutalized. Don't love that. And one of them is from Kay's past. And it soon becomes apparent she could be next. Poor sweet Kay. She always could be next. So here we go, you guys. I feel like I said I was going to talk about the TV show when it was coming out, and I don't think I ever researched that, so stay tuned. But thank you, Grand Central Publishing, courtesy of Thriller Fest, for this one. So someday I will read it, and when I do, I will talk to you guys about it. But coming our way soon. Let me see if I can put it down without knocking it over. Nope, dropped it. Okay. Then we have Keep This For Me by Jennifer Faucett. So I actually have an e-arc of this, and I got to meet Jennifer through a friend at Thriller Fest, which was kind of fun. So she wrote, is it Beneath the Stairs, I want to say? Did I get that right? Yes, she wrote Beneath the Stairs, which came out in 2022. And today we're going to talk about Keep This For Me. Waiting for my screen to open. All right. It is a hot August night in 1993. In case you didn't know, this is a thriller. And a young couple goes to a party. When their car breaks down, they're picked up by a truck driver who attacks the man and woman. Attacks the man and abducts the woman. Apologies. And she is never seen again. That woman was Fiona Green's mother. I wonder how much time we're going to spend in 1993, because I do love a 90s timeline. So eventually the trucker is caught. And a mass grave of bodies is discovered in his backyard. Ugh, but Fiona's mother isn't there. So 30 years later, on his prison deathbed, he insists he didn't kill her. So Fiona finds herself back in the small town where her mother disappeared. So not really a reluctant return home, but like a reluctant return to the scene of the crime. And she's trying to find out what happened to her mom, and that's all I want to know. And it says suspenseful and immersive and spellbinding exploration of what we unwillingly inherit from our parents and how one random act can send ripples into the future. I am very intrigued by this one. So sounds nice and creepy. As I say, love me a 90s timeline, although it sounds like we're really going to be in the present, which I'm also totally cool with. And I'm all in. I am all the way in. I also really like this cover. What is going to be the cover of October, you guys? Let us see. All right, this next book 100% caught my attention because it has painted edges. It's called Secrets of the Blue Hand Girls by Rowana Miller. If you guys have been here for a minute or two, then you know any kind of special edition, painted edges are like kryptonite. I will buy it unless it's a fantasy because I don't read fantasy. But when I saw this one, I was like, yep, absolutely. I don't even need to know what it's about. I'm already into it. But of course I need to know what it's about. So we have When the First Letter Appears. In Kay Anderson's locker, it carries one instruction: dye your hand blue. She definitely shouldn't obey it. Kay doesn't have time for secret societies. I love a secret society. As a scholarship student at up-and-coming Manhattan prep school Davison High, she knows her job is to work hard, get into Northwestern, and ignore her wealthy classmates' fun-filled Instagram stories. Besides, her first and only real friend at Davison died suddenly freshman year. Sounds like that's going to come back to haunt us. So YA, all in. Love the glitter pen on the cover of this. So Kay is intrigued. She stains her palms with ink to join the mysterious Blue Hand Girls, sharing an unspoken thrill with the classmates who do the same. More letters show up, assigning risky initiation tasks, and Kay realizes the group is set on exposing the shady business that the Davison founders would rather keep secret. Yep. I do selectively enjoy a YA book. And the first review I see here says it's the YA bunny. And as I'm currently on a We Love You Bunny read, I was going to say reread, but it's a read because it just came out, or it's coming out. By the time you guys see this, it will have just come out. Anyway, I'm even more intrigued by seeing that. Whether or not it's true, we shall see. But anyway, Blue Hand Girls, blue painted edges on a book. I'm in. And like a prep school, rich kids behaving badly. It's everything and then some. Next up is What a Way to Go by Bella Mackey. This already came out in the UK, and I was very, very tempted to buy it from Blackwell's. I bought her other book. If you guys have watched my trying to unhaul stuff, I've moved a whole bunch of stuff around. Oh, here she is. So How to Kill Your Family. It's not a series or anything, but I came across this book, got super excited about it. Then I saw she had another book out. I haven't read this one yet, so we're trying to, as I'm in the midst of unhauling my bookshelves, I'm trying not to buy new books because that defeats the purpose. Anyway, her second book, What a Good Way to Go, is coming out. So we have, quote, I was immensely grateful that despite the gruesome way my husband died, he'd done it with his clothes on. Anthony Wistern is wealthy beyond imagination. Fragrant wife, gaggle of photogenic children, French chateau, Cotswold manor, plethora of mistresses, penchant for cutting moral corners, tick, 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 tick. Unfortunately for him, he's also dead. Suddenly poised to inherit his fortune, each member of the family falls under suspicion, and that's when everything comes crashing down. I'm intrigued by this one. So yes, hitting US shelves soon, out in the UK in 2024. Dark humor, I don't know. Love the cover, love the concept. I'm here for it. Again, rich people behaving badly, and who done it? Did somebody do it for the fortune? We'll find out. We'll find out. And then the last book I have for October 7th is Photograph by Brian Freeman. He is a new to me author, but he is a New York Times best-selling author. And we have an emotional cold case mystery of hidden identities and startling twists. Shannon Wells is a private investigator who helps women with nowhere else to go. Last year, a woman named Faith Selby, you know when like you see the word and you know you're not saying it right, but you still say it the wrong way anyway? Faith Selby came to Shannon with a strange, find out who I really am. That feels like I read that wrong. Okay. Shannon soon discovered that Faith was hiding a whole other life, but was unable to penetrate the web of mystery the woman had built around her past. Now Faith is dead. The only clue to who she was and why she was murdered is an old photograph of a little girl in the rain outside a Midwestern motel. The hunt for answers takes Shannon from the hot beaches of Florida to a remote small town in Michigan as she peels away layer after layer of a shocking cold case that has rippled violently into the present. With each secret she uncovers, the danger around her grows and forces Shannon to confront the demons hiding in her own past. Wow, I would expect nothing less in a mystery. Of course confront the demons, of course see what's happening. PSA, for anyone paying attention, there's a Goodreads giveaway for this book right now. So if you are watching this in real time, you probably still have a chance to enroll in that. Enroll is not the right word, you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm very interested, and yeah, cold case, small towns, bring it on. Bring it all the way on. Now we are going to slide into October 14th, and we have a nonfiction memoir, and this is Vagabond by Tim Curry. I was on a phone call for work today, and sidebar, a friend of mine at work, I like initially made a 90210 pop culture reference, and whatever, it just like formed a friendship between the two of us. And I was like, yeah, I basically speak in pop culture and movie quotes. So we always find pop culture things to talk about. And we're trying to unravel a mystery at work today. And he's like, Audrey, he's like, pop culture references kind of like Clue. And I was like, oh my God, it is. I was like, 1 + 1 + 2 + 1 + 2 + 1. Anyway, if you know, you know. I do love me some Tim Curry. We have a celebration of his life's work and a testament to his profound impact on the entertainment industry as we know it today. I definitely was someone, and why would I, who, when I watched Annie back in the day, had no idea, like, what a big deal, like, Tim Curry and Bernadette Peters were. I knew Carol Burnett because we absolutely, like, had watched that show, but had no gauge of, like, who he was. I certainly didn't know about Rocky Horror until I got to college, but anyway, we have few stars in Hollywood today that can boast the kind of resume Tony Award-nominated actor Tim Curry has built over the past 5 decades. So his breakout role in Rocky Horror, his iconic depiction of the sadistic clown Pennywise, which I have not seen, and his critically acclaimed role as King Arthur in both the Broadway and West End versions of Spamalot. He redefined what it means to be character actor, portraying heroes and villains alike with complexity, nuance, and a genuine understanding of human darkness. In his memoir, Curry takes readers behind the scenes of his rise to fame, from his early beginnings as a military brat to his formative years in boarding school and university, to the moment when he hit the stage for the first time. In depth about some of his most emblematic work, constantly switching between a camera and a live audience. He also explores voice work that defined his later career and provided him with a chance to pivot after surviving a catastrophic stroke in 2012. I had no idea that that actually happened. It is the 50th anniversary of Rocky Horror, the 40th anniversary of Clue. There's never been a better time for Tim to share his story with the world. I'm really intrigued, and I really, really hope there's an audiobook of him reading it, which I feel like there has to be, which I bet would be amazing. But I can only imagine the stories this man has to tell, and I'll be tuning in for them. So I'm excited about that. Next up, we have Murder 2 Doors Down by Chuck Storla. So I am definitely in a little bit of a like cozy adjacent mystery, I would say. And this one has, again, they like pitch it as like only murders, which is basically like the Gone Girl for me of books. And I'm all in on this one. This also is likened to Everyone on this Train is a Suspect, which you guys know I love. So we have Welcome to the Estates. We have a pop-up. Welcome to the Estates at Chestnut Lake, a home of perfect lawns, matching houses, and an inconvenient murder or two. Brad Hansen's life in his suburban Atlanta subdivision is unremarkable. He investigates insurance fraud, which is as dull as it sounds. Though if he's able to get a good bonus this year, his wife Rhonda will finally get to have her new kitchen. His highest achievement in life, I'm sorry, I'm just like, what I would do for a new kitchen. Okay. His highest achievement in life is being secretary and de facto parliamentarian on the Homeowners Association board, which is the center of all the neighborhood drama. As frustrating and heated as the arguments over tennis courts resurfacing and dog droppings may be, much like his subdivision compatriots, Brad would never kill a neighbor, but he might enjoy thinking about it from time to time, because who hasn't fantasized about wanting to kill your neighbor? When someone murders cranky old Inga Oscar-daughter, a frequent source of complaints to the HOA board, a literal smoking gun turns Brad into the chief suspect. That's not good. But Brad is not waiting around to be arrested. After all, he is an investigator by trade, and he takes it upon himself to find the real killer. And it says, one thing is, a murder on the block is not good for property values. Bum bum. I love the idea of an amateur detective. I'm hoping this is like Cozy Plus, and I'm guessing it is the way it talks about everyone on this train and Finley and Only Murders. I'm here for the humor. I am here for the neighborhood nonsense. I do love a suburban mystery. Anyway, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun. I recently read the Marigold Cottage Murders and this Marigold Cottage Murder Collective, and this is giving me like a similar vibe. So small community, somebody is found dead, and then the neighbors like band together to figure out who done it. So I'm getting like a very similar feel to that. I don't know. Sounds fun. Sounds fun. Then we have The Gallery Assistant by Kate Belly. I will say a lot of this month is, I don't want caps on, is a lot of new to me authors, which is always so much fun to find someone new. And you guys know I'm like all about discovering somebody new to fall for. So this one is definitely a thriller. We have November 2001. So I recently read, I keep saying recently, it was a few months ago. Think, Audrey, think. Tell Them You Lied by Laura Loeffler. I had to cheat and go back and look at it. But that was also New York City. That was September 2001. And this is November 2001. We have a twisty, sinister thriller following a New York art gallery assistant. And there was Art World in the other book as well. I don't know, just parallel symmetry, always kind of fun. We have Chloe Harlow wakes up late with hazy memories of the party the night before, but no recollection of how she got back to her Brooklyn apartment. Ever since the terrifying and catastrophic terrorist attacks, it seems she has been on a collision course with destruction. When she finally arrives at the exclusive Upper East Side art gallery where she works, she is immediately called into her Boston office, to her boss's office. Where is my brain? A pair of NYPD detectives greet her, also very curious to know how her evening ended, because the host of the party, a rising painter and the gallery's newest artist, is dead. Navigating both the sophisticated high-stakes art world and her personal life in burgeoning Williamsburg, Chloe struggles to piece together a complete picture of that lost night. There's absolutely an Andy Bart's book called The Lost Night. As she digs deeper, inconsistencies emerge between what she remembers and what people tell her actually happened, and more questions are raised, so definitely an unreliable narrator. Everything begins to feel like a conspiracy, and maybe it is, because Chloe is the only one who glimpses the secrets the murdered artist left behind. And the closer she gets to the truth, the more deadly it becomes, because of course it does, because it's a thriller. So she's going to get herself into a whole mess of trouble, I'm going to guess. And I'm very curious about it. So I really liked art scene, New York City. I love these like complicated, I love these, I can't remember what happened last night. I'm still a sucker for those stories. And I don't know who done it, who offed the up and coming artist, and why? Why? We'll find out. Okay, next up is also another book that I have. If you guys watched a book haul I did a while ago, this is Dead and Breakfast by Kat Hills and Rosie Thor. And it says, came for the vampires, stay for the scones. This was sent to me by Berkeley. And this just looks comedic and fun. So I'm not like a dark vampire person other than like Buffy Angel. But this looks like a comedic vampire, which I'm here for. And we have new vampires are in town and they are sinking their teeth into solving a murder. So another good old suburban story. We are in the friendly town of Trident Falls, Oregon. And we have the married odd couple of Arthur and Sal. So they're totally normal, as you can see. They wear sunscreen, not because the sun can kill them, but because even the undead need a skincare regimen. I hear you. They eat garlic whenever they want, though it gives Sal indigestion. They can talk to creatures of the night, but only the raccoons that rifle through their garbage. Really, they don't bite, except into delicious baked goods. Ready to settle down and stay out of trouble, the two have opened a bed and breakfast in this idyllic town. But trouble finds them when the mayor is discovered dead in their begonias with two trouble finds them. I'm like laughing through. I keep saying things wrong. Trouble finds them when the mayor is discovered dead in their begonias with two puncture wounds in his neck, and with the help of a werewolf barista, an elven town coroner, and a very human city manager, Arthur and Sal will need to prove they aren't literally out for blood by catching a killer. I think this is just going to be funny and fun. Can he fly? Can he hypnotize people? You know, they're going to be accused of having done it just because of how they look. Because they're a little different than everybody else. So you know that they're the main suspects. So thank you, Berkeley. This one seems like a very fun time and will be a good antidote to the dark books on my list this month. All right. And then the last book for the 14th is Workhorse, and this is by Caroline Palmer. We have another set in New York City book. I'm nothing if not predictable. So at the turn of the millennium, editorial assistant Claudia Chloe Harmon, probably saying the nickname wrong, wants nothing more than to rise through the ranks of the world's most prestigious fashion magazine. A sucker for things set in fashion. There's just one problem. She doesn't have the right pedigree. Instead, Chloe is a workhorse surrounded by beautiful, wealthy, impossibly well-connected show horses who get ahead without effort, including her beguiling cubicle mate, Davis Lawrence, the daughter of a beloved but fading Broadway actress. Harry Wood, Davis's boarding school classmate and a reporter with visions of his own media empire, might be Chloe's ally in gaming the system, or he might be the only thing standing between Chloe and her rightful place at the top. In a career punctuated by moments of high absurdity, sudden windfalls, and devastating reversals of fortune, Chloe wades across boundaries, taking even greater and more dangerous risks to become the important person she wants to be within the confines of a world where female ambition remains cloaked. But who really is Chloe underneath all the borrowed designer clothes and studied manners? And who are we if we share her desires? I'm really, woof. This book is 560 pages. Hilariously observant and insightful, Workhorse is a brilliant page turner about what it means to be enthralled to wealth, beauty, and influence, and the outrageous sacrifices women must make for the sake of success. Put me in a fashion magazine world any day of the week. I just love it. The first review I see is I can't believe how fascinating the story was. Oof, great reviews for the audiobook. All right. I'm in. And we are now kicking the tripod. We are now on October 21st, and we are moving into some of my most anticipated books. So first up, we have the new John Grisham book, The Widow. If you guys have been here for a minute, you know I got to see him at Thriller Fest this year. I have been a Grisham fan since I read The Firm. I read it not when it first came out, but since I discovered The Firm, and was a hardcore, diehard Grisham fan for a very long time. I have not read any of his more recent books, but this is his first foray into like a whodunit. So you can bet I'm going to be picking this one up. We have Simon Latch is a lawyer in rural Virginia. Can I get my stuff straight? So he's making just enough to pay his bills while his marriage slowly falls apart. Then into his office walks Eleanor Barnett, an elderly widow in need of a new will. Apparently her husband left her a small fortune and nobody knows about it. Once he hooks the richest client of his career, Simon works quietly to keep her wealth under the radar. But soon her story begins to crack. When she's hospitalized after a car accident, Simon realizes that nothing is as it seems, and he finds himself on trial for a crime he swears he didn't murder. I think there's a typo in this description. On trial for a crime he swears he didn't murder. So I think it's supposed to be that he didn't commit. There's 1,000% a typo here. Simon knows he's innocent. He also knows the circumstantial evidence is against him, and he could spend the rest of his life behind bars. So to save himself, he has to find the real killer. Okay, I'm really cracking up about this. This is his first ever whodunit, even more suspenseful than his courtroom dramas. And yeah, small-time lawyer tries to clear his name by finding the real killer. How is there a typo, but how isn't there a typo? I'm going to do the thing where I'm going to see, are there typos in all of the descriptions, or is it just on this one website? It's giving me Rachel Green did her resume and there's a typo on it, and she's like, do you think it's on all of them? And they're like, no, I'm sure the printer just caught the first couple of pages. Of course it's on all of them. Okay, so we're missing missing some punctuation on Goodreads. We're missing the colon, where it's supposed to be he finds himself on trial for a crime he swears he didn't commit. Murder. Can I just not read? Yeah, there's definitely a typo on Goodreads. Okay. Whew. Anyway, John Grisham, The Widow. Here we go, you guys. I am very, 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 very excited to get back into the world of John Grisham. I have a lot of his books that I haven't yet read, and you know what? It's all cool. It's all cool. All cool. October 21st. This is a train wreck. October 21st. We're gonna read it. We're gonna get it. Okay. October 21st. Long Way Down. Lisa Cusel. Hold on a second. I have this one also. Thank you to Lisa and Crooked Lane Books for sending me the arc of this. I'm so super excited. Lisa, friend of the channel and all around rock star. Okay, Long Way Down. This is 100% giving me hunting party vibes with the deer on it. And it says, you know, perfect for fans of Rachel Hawkins and Darby Kane. You guys know I loved The Widow on Dwyer Court, which came out last year. So this is on my to be read pile. So we have, she thinks she's marrying the perfect man, but nothing is as it seems. Denny Rydell believes her life is finally about to change for the better, just as soon as she marries Cal Cooper Jr., heir to a massive California mining fortune. When Cal and his parents perish in a plane crash, Denny's dreams are shattered. She's hoping to find solace with Cal's brother Grant, who only recently returned to the small town of Gold Hills after a year's stay in rehab. I feel like run, don't walk away from this guy. Too bad Grant is caught up trying to please Erica, the mysterious woman he brought home with him. Grant. Meanwhile, Gold Hills detective Robin Torres is assigned to investigate a vicious murder that she assumes to be a drug robbery that turned deadly. The deeper she digs, though, the clearer it is that she couldn't be further from the truth. Soon enough, Torres begins to uncover a series of disturbing family secrets and dark lies connected to the Cooper family that threatens to destroy everything Denny knew to be true. I'm so excited. So excited for a thriller. I'm so excited to get lost in a book. I'm so excited for a page turner. Lisa, I'm very excited for this. So stay tuned, you guys, because I'm going to be reading this before Pub Day, and I will have a full review coming your way, and I'm very excited. Ugh, the joy of being lost in a thriller. I am so curious about what's up with his brother. Denny, I'm telling you, girl, run, don't walk away. He sounds like trouble, but like in the best way humanly possible. So very excited. Coming out the 21st. You're in great company, you and John. Gonna have a good time. All right. Also coming out on the 21st, we have Girl Dinner by Olivia Blake. I want to say Olivia, and it's not Olivia Blake. The way I don't know how to pronounce words. All right. This one also has some painted edges going on. Do I want to automatically buy it just because it has painted edges? Yes. yes, 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 I do. Let's find out what it's all about. We have Good Girls Deserve a Treat. Every member of the House, the most exclusive sorority on campus, love a campus novel, and all its alumni are beautiful, high-achieving, and universally respected. After a freshman year she would rather forget, sophomore Nina Kaur, K-A-U-R, knows being one of the chosen few accepted into the House is the first step in her path to the brightest possible future. Once she's taken into their fold, the House will surely ease her fears of failure and protect her from those who see a young woman on her own as easy prey. Then we have adjunct professor Dr. Sloane Hartley is struggling to return to work after accepting a demotion to support her partner's new position at the cutthroat university. After 18 months at home with her newborn daughter, Sloane's clothes don't fit right, her girl dad husband isn't as present as she thinks he is, and even the few hours a day she's apart from her child fill her psyche with paralyzing ennui. When invited to be the House's academic liaison, Sloane enviously drinks in the way the alumni seem to have it all, achieving a level of collective perfection that Sloane so desperately craves. As Nina and Sloane each get drawn deeper into the arcane rituals of the sisterhood, yes, please, they learn that living well comes with bloody costs. This, as I now see, this is pitched as horror. When they are finally invited to the table, they will have to decide just how much they can stomach in the name of solidarity and power. So, grain of salt with how Goodreads sometimes it's horror, thriller, dark academia, adult fiction, mystery, thriller, mystery. It's got a ton of tags to it, but I'm very curious. I love a sorority story. We definitely did some stuff in my day as a sorority girl, and I am very intrigued by this one. All right, and then, did I say the 20th before? It's the 21st. I'm getting the date wrong already. All right, next up on the 21st, The Deadly Book Club by Lynn Liao Butler. I mean, anything with deadly in the in the title, I'm like, okay. And it's about a book club. Okay. A book about readers. Okay. And I also love this lady's striped hat. Love me some stripes. And it's compared to fans of First Light Winds and The Writing Retreat, aka me. All right, so we have a virtual book club. This one's dark, you guys, which of course makes it sound so much fun. So 5 of the most prominent book influencers in the US make up an exclusive virtual book club that's the envy of the online book world. I would be jealous. Once a month, they get on a video call to sip cocktails, chat about social media campaigns, and book events, and they discuss their monthly book club pick. Until one meeting, when all of their screens freeze and they listen to gut-wrenching screams as one of them is brutally attacked. It feels like an eternity before the video call drops, and thus begins the frantic texts and phone calls as they try to figure out who was murdered and why. It's not funny, but it's amazing. As the investigation unearths secrets each of them need to keep buried, the jealousies, hidden resentments, and trouble in their personal lives begin to surface. The remaining 4 women are suspicious of each other, pointing fingers to take the heat off their own indiscretions. But if they want to figure out who killed their friend, they need to band together and put past hurts behind them, or one of them will be next. I don't know who done it. So the first review says complicated and backstabby relationships. I mean, I do love some toxic female friendships. And we will find out. I have not been in a book club in forever. And not that it matters, but anyway, I'm in. I need to stop looking at other people's commentary. Okay. Anyway, on to the next. But if you're into book clubs and you're into, deadly stuff, there you go. And then we have The Sister's Curse by Nicola Slovenic. So she wrote The Hunter's Daughter. Haven't read it yet, but she's got something new coming out. So of course I am interested by an author I know. I've also heard absolutely amazing things about this, and I'm just a monster for not having read it yet. But if you're watching my own hauls, that is not news to you. All right, let's talk about The Sister's Curse. This is a beautiful cover. which I am all in on. And we have There's Something in the Water. I don't know why I sing in these sing-song voices. Somebody stop me. Okay. We have mysterious drownings that plague a small town. We have a detective haunted by her serial killer father. And she must uncover whether revenge, ancient legends, or something darker lurks beneath the surface. Flicker in the dark. I do love a serial killer father. All right. We have Lieutenant Anna Correa. Thought she'd finally found solid ground and escaped her past as the daughter of a notorious serial killer. Ain't easy. A loving boyfriend, a loyal dog, a life that almost feels normal, except darkness has a way of seeping in. When she saves a boy from drowning, the strange marks on his body tell a disturbing something. When she saves a boy from drowning, the strange marks on his body tell a disturbing something in the depths tried. Why are these descriptions? I think there's way too many typos. Let me change channels here. Let me move to a different website. I am either not able to focus or I don't know. Yeah, Goodreads definitely is missing punctuation and information. So we're gonna move on. Okay. Lieutenant Anna Correa thought she'd finally found solid ground. So when Anna saves a boy from drowning, the strange marks on his body tell a disturbing story. Something in the depths tried to drag him under. Days later, another victim surfaces with identical marks, and Anna's instincts scream that these are no accidents. Both victims are connected to the Kings of Warsaw Creek, men of the town's wealthiest and most influential families, and they have enemies. Others whisper that there are witches in Bayonne County, seeking revenge for a long-ago murder. Perhaps it's the work of Vivian Carson, the enigmatic bartender who's rumored to cast hexes on those who wrong her. I like Vivian already. Or maybe it's a secret coven who's been leaving serpentine symbols and skulls behind as the scenes of the drownings. But Anna's investigation reveals an even more sinister truth. Something is stirring in the water, and it wants the Kings to pay. Let's punish the men of the town's wealthiest and most influential families all the livelong day. I'm really intrigued. I don't know if this is going to be supernatural. I don't know if this is there's going to be like an explanation for things, but whatever it is, I'm curious. And again, I'm obsessed. This might be my cover for the month. This might be my favorite cover. Of course, we're going to get into the next one, which is also going to be exciting. Okay, last book for the 21st, we have The Midnight Knock by John Fram. You guys know The Bright Lands is still one of my favorite creepy books, which I will continue to recommend. And I have a feeling this one's going to be creepy and fantastic too. So this is like a great, I feel like you need to be wearing 3D glasses for this cover with the echoes behind Midnight Knock. But we have a locked room mystery meets a white knuckle horror, and it's a mind-bending thriller where strangers must survive a deadly night in a remote Texas motel. I love a book that takes place in like a real-time kind of a thing, or like a 24-hour time. So, in the frigid West Texas desert, weary travelers converge at a lonely roadside motel nestled at the foot of a massive mountain. This is going to be like, what's the Taylor Adams? What's the Taylor Adams with the strangers at the rest stop? Okay, Ethan and Hunter have left behind a corpse, a fire, a horrific act of violence. What? Kyla and Fernanda are fleeing for the border. Stanley and his granddaughter are returning from Mexico with a mysterious man in hot pursuit. All of them are on the run from something. All of them are hiding something. And somehow they're all connected to the motel's other guest, an enigmatic woman named Sarah Powers. Within hours, Sarah is dead. Wow. The strange twins who run the break-in motel inform the surviving guests that her murder demands justice. The guests are given an ultimatum. Uncover the killer by midnight or die when the protective lights around the motel go out. What? Because something very old and very dangerous lurks in this corner of the desert, and it is hungry. This is definitely giving me Bright Lands. But nothing at the break-in motel is quite as it seems. As time ticks away, alliances fracture, secrets unravel, and the guests will not only have to confront the violence of the past, they will need to face the darkness within themselves. Psychological tension, supernatural horror, and layered storytelling. Boundary pushing. Yes. Yes. So I got to meet John very briefly at Thriller Fest, and I absolutely fangirled, and I'm excited for this. I do have an e-arc of this book, so I'm very excited for it, and we're going to get into it. All right. Moving in to the last week of the month. We have a book that grabbed my eye, which is why we're here. It is the 640 to Montreal, and this is by Eva Jerzik. Someone's going to let me know. All right. No Wi-Fi, no distractions, no way out. Music to my ears. Agatha's husband has bought her a first-class ticket on the scenic 6-hour train from Toronto to Montreal as a gift. A one-day writing retreat so she can get some serious work done on her new book. A highly anticipated follow-up to Agatha's runaway bestseller debut novel. I love the idea of just being on a train for 6 hours and getting to write. I mean, I know this is not going to end well for this book because there's that, like, basically blood on the cover, but I'm here for it. So we have the first class car is the perfect place to be productive, with only a handful of other passengers, plenty of snacks and drinks, and beautiful views flying outside the window. But Agatha has other plans for her day out. Plans that are unexpectedly derailed when the train breaks down in the middle of the frigid Canadian woods, and one of Agatha's fellow passengers dies quietly in his seat. Anybody remember the Murder, She Wrote? Murder Takes the Bus? Soon, a pleasant morning in transit turns into a fight for survival against an unknown and unseen enemy. Will Agatha or any of the passengers make it out alive? So we have a claustrophobic, deceivingly bloody thriller that twists and turns to the very last page. I absolutely stopped because I saw the cover of this, and I'm like, the 4:50 to Paddington. What is happening here? Is it like a Murder on the Orient Express? And we're going to find out. I do love some claustrophobia. I do love when weather messes all the things up. I'm obsessed with the cover. So she is a new to me author, but not a new author. So she wrote That Night in the Library. Has anybody read her before? I'm super intrigued. And the Department of Rare Books and Special Collections. I feel like I could be a fan of hers. So anyway, I'm really excited for this one. And then I'm also super, super excited. You guys, the end of the month is so amazing as well. Wreck by Catherine Newman is coming out. So this is a sequel to Sandwich, which if you guys watch some of my like summer recaps, I listened to Sandwich and nobody was more surprised than me with how much I loved that book. And I listened to the audiobook of it. I already talked about it, so I won't talk about it too much longer. But I was like crying because I was crying, and then like crying because I was laughing while I was walking around and listening to that book. It's so good. It's so good. And now we're getting a sequel to it, which I didn't even know until I did that video, and then people told me there was going to be a sequel. So here we go. Let's talk about Wreck. All right, if you haven't read Sandwich, I don't want to give anything away, but basically Sandwich is like Rocky and her family spend a week on the Cape in Sandwich. No, more than a week. Is it a week? I think it's a week. My brain is broken. And it's just like a week in the life kind of a thing. So it's really great. There are some flashbacks to other points in time, but it's basically like a family story, but super, super relatable. And we now are back with Rocky and her family. And it says, if you loved them on vacation in Cape Cod, wait until you join them at home 2 years later. And if this is your first meeting with the crew, get ready to laugh and cry and relate. So I'm sure you don't have to read Sandwich, but I mean, I just would because it's really great fun and it's also super short. So Rocky is still anxious, nostalgic, and funny, living in Western Massachusetts with her husband, Nick, and their daughter, Willa, who is back home after college. And their son, Jamie, has taken a new job in New York. And I don't want to say much because some of it is a little spoilery from book number 1. And it says, it all couldn't be more ridiculously normal until Rocky finds herself obsessed with a local accident that only tangentially affects them, and with a medical condition that she hopes won't affect them at all. With signature wit and wisdom, Catherine Newman explores the hidden rules of family, the heavy weight of uncertainty, and the gnarly fact that people, no matter how much you love them, are not always exactly who you want them to be. So I think this is just going to be great fun. The cover screams fall, and I'm a fan. I'm an instant Catherine Newman fan, and I will absolutely be reading this one. And then we're going to take a hard pivot for Olivia Worley, and this is Final Cut. So this is a YA horror, like Final Girl, all the things. Why is it bringing up the wrong book? Not the only book named Final Cut. I read The Debutantes. I have So Happy Together, which was her adult thriller debut, and she was on a panel I saw at Thriller Fest. And then Final Cut is back to a YA book. So The Debutantes was YA. And it says Scream meets the reappearance of Rachel Price. Real life horror movie. So recently graduated high school student, I said that weird, Hazel Lejeune, definitely saying that wrong, gets the lead role in a slasher film. It feels like a dream come true. This is her chance to break into the industry, to build her reel, and to prove to her mom that this gap year can turn into a career. So what if it's set in the nothing town of Pine Springs, Louisiana, the same place her father, the Pine Springs slasher, was convicted of a series of murders 15 years ago. Here we go, another girl whose father is a serial killer. But when Hazel arrives on set, she gets much more than she bargained for. The shoot is plagued by suspicious accidents. Mentions of her dad dot the entire script, and then a gruesome murder shocks everyone to the core. Now it's clear there's a real killer on set, one who's determined to finish the film at all costs. But is this merely a copycat, or is the wrong slasher behind bars? So a little runtime by Catherine Ryan Howard, set on a slasher movie. A little Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. Dad's a serial killer, but then more people keep dying, so is the wrong guy in prison. And, you know, we've got a rising body count, and Hazel needs to unmask the killer before she becomes a real-life final girl. Or before the killer flips the script and makes her the next victim. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. I really enjoyed The Debutantes. It went way darker than I thought. I mentioned it when I read it, like definitely soft echoes of like The Last Housewife, which I did not expect and absolutely loved, because you know I love anything Ashley Winstead. But I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun, and I will tune in. I'm here for a slasher thing. I'm here for all things Scream, and you know, there we have it. All right, so I've got a romance and I've got a mystery. Who do we want to do first? Why isn't it coming up? This is why I would never be able to do lives, because I don't know how to fill time when I'm searching for stuff. All right, we're going to talk about The Bone Thief by Vanessa Lilly. This is a sequel to Blood Sisters, which was so fantastic, and I have heard nothing but amazing things about The Bone Thief, and I'm really excited for it. So I think Vanessa's amazing because she can write the Widow series, which is comedic mystery genius fun. She can write like a solid psychological thriller, and then The Bone Thief, and I'm like, why is my brain broken right now? And Blood Sisters was dark but action-packed but twisty and mysterious and just fantastic. So here we go. The Bone Thief is about a Native American teenager who vanishes from her small town, a place with dark ties to an elite historical society. Love. And then we have archaeologist Sid Walker is back. She's called in to investigate. So in the hours before dawn at a local summer camp, Little God of the Woods, Bureau of Indian Affairs archaeologist Sid Walker receives an alarming call. Newly discovered skeletal remains have been stolen. Not only have bones gone missing, but a native teen girl has disappeared near the camp, and law enforcement dismisses her family's fears. Well, they sound awful. So Sid comes in, she investigates both crimes, and she's drawn into a world of privileged campers and their wealthy parents. I am so in for rich people, again, behaving badly. Most of the members are part of the Founders Society, which is an exclusive club whose members trace their lineage to the first colonists and claim ancestral rights to the land, despite fierce objections from the local tribal community. These people sound awful. And it's not the first time something or someone has gone missing from the camp. These founders So Sid continues to dig, and the more she digs, the more she realizes these aren't isolated incidents. A pattern of disappearances stretches back generations, all leading to the Founders Society's doorsteps. But exposing the truth means confronting not just the town's most powerful families, but also a legacy of violence that refuses to stay buried. I'm so intrigued. I loved Sid so much in the first book, and I'm very excited for this. Vanessa is just a dream of a human and very, very funny. And I'm very excited for the darkness here. She can go dark, you guys. She can definitely go dark. And like I said, action-packed, keeping very high hopes for this. I love the cover of this book as well. And we'll see what happens. Oh, look, Liz Moore is one of the plugs on the front. So funny. I'm like, summer camp, God of the Woods. And then I look and I'm like, Bone Thief is a riveting mystery. Blending history and fiction. And there you go, Liz Moore. So she rocks. This book is going to be amazing. So pick it up. And then one more to go. If you were watching my book on haul, I talked about how to make it in Hollywood. I'm like, I know the book I want to talk about is over here somewhere. Was one of my favorite romances ever. And I resisted reading another Ava Wilder book because like I didn't want to ruin how much I loved that book and either like fall in love with other characters more. But I had Will They or Won't They, which I still haven't read yet, but I mentioned how Ava Wilder has a new book coming out. Well, here she is, friends, and I'm excited for it. It's called Some Kind of Famous, and the blurb, oh, this is too hard to push, it's fine. It says, in this steamy and emotional small town romance. Had me at steamy. How to Fake It in Hollywood is so deliciously steamy and such a great, weighty, emotional book. I love it so much. Okay. Some Kind of Famous is steamy and emotional small town romance. We have a disgraced ex-musician, and a local handyman try to resist their growing attraction for each other. Well, for all of us, let's hope they can't resist. It has been decades since Merritt Valentine's peak as a celebrated singer-songwriter and her subsequent career-ending mental breakdown. Since then, she's abandoned the glitz of Los Angeles to move in with her sister Olivia in the sleepy Colorado ski town of Crested Peak. I wonder if it's supposed to be like Crested Butte. And the only reason I know that is because that's where Heidi Montag is from, and it was in the hills. So Merritt is going to try and heal her lingering emotional wounds out of the spotlight. So she's at Crested Peak. Okay. Life would be uncomplicated if not for Merritt's inconvenient crush on the local contractor and handyman, Nicholas Petrakis. Nico is disarmingly handsome and too kind-hearted to even be right for the complex and prickly Merritt. Though tempting, a fling with Nico would only bring the kind of drama Merritt has vowed to leave behind. I think the name Nico is top-notch. After his last heartbreak, Nico is done dating his fellow townies. Still, he can't shake his fascination with the brilliant Merritt, even as he heeds their mutual friend's warning to steer clear of her chaos. But when Merritt needs help fixing up a house of her own, Nico is glad to be the only man for the job. Brown chicken, brown cow. As the two spend more time together, their mutual attraction sparking a deeper connection than either one expects. They're forced to confront the ideas that they may have underestimated each other and themselves. I am so excited for this. Not reading another book by an author because you're afraid it's going to ruin how much you love the first book by falling more in love with the second book is probably one of the dumbest things I've ever come up with. And I've come up with some really dumb excuses for not picking up a book, but I'm so excited for this. And I do love like a famous person, regular person kind of a vibe. And, you know, I love a small town and I love some steam. I mean, if the door gets closed, I'm closing the book. I'm not in. So Ava Wilder can write a scene and write such interesting characters and great like banter and great chemistry. And I am all in for this one. So I can't wait. I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait. So there you have it, you guys. That is October. That is busting out all over. I know that's supposed to be June, but I'm very excited. Good mix of thrillers, I think, and some romance and a little lighter contemporary cozy-ish mystery. We'll see. And I don't know. me, going to try to self-control the shopping. Like I said, I've got a couple already on the e-arcs. I've got Lisa's book here, and we'll see what I do. But when I read the books, I will let you guys know. I will review them. You guys can tune back in for that. I am still making my way through La Book Haul, so if you're interested, please tune in for that as well. I'm having fun, you guys. I have upped my goal, in case anybody's interested, and I have already filmed a bunch of shelves behind me, so you can tune in and see that. I've also done this cart, which maybe you notice it wasn't the same monstrosity that it is in other videos. She looks better than she does before. So anyway, I'm having a good time. It's a good cleansing exercise, and anyway, if you're interested in the unhaul, you gotta watch it. Why can't I push this cart back? All right, I'm gonna go because I am a hyper mess and it's been a long day at work, and here we go. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know which is your October book of choice. What did I not talk about that you were interested in? Has anybody read any of these books before they came out? Tell us all the things, and we will take it from there. And I will see you guys in another video someday soon. All right, thanks everybody. Take care. Bye.